In a recent video, I talked about this idea of reviewing the Airbnb while you're still in the accommodation, or reviewing the movie while you're still in the theater. Carry forth this traveling metaphor, since I am traveling currently. This idea of therapy as a kind of testimony, or as kind of packing your bags, packing your luggage. You know, when you overpack, as I tend to do, you're squeezing everything in, trying to get that zipper closed, and you're trying to, in a sense, metaphorically package up your life, package up your story. And so often when one goes to see a therapist, they can be trying to package up their story. It's the same when you're talking to your own self. You know, you're making a testimony. You're saying, and you can look at this as a church testimony too. You're saying, this thing happened, and it means this. So I made this decision, or this person made a decision, or this event occurred, this thing went wrong, this thing went right, this choice was made, and it means X. And usually X is, it means I'm good, or it means I'm bad, or it means I'm doing well, or it means I'm doing poorly. And this is not to be critical of the mind for this habit. It has a survival aspect. But what if we use that as an invitation to unpack the bag? To leave the bag unpacked? Because it's not time to go to the airport yet, metaphorically. Actually, for me, it is. But leave the clothes that may or may not fit in the luggage strewn around the floor and the furniture. Don't go into the courtroom to testify, or in the middle of testimony, just get up and start dancing around or babbling in a made-up language. The point being is really none of that, but really just to find stillness inside of that scene where you're not tying it up into a neat bow. You're not making a testimony. You're not packing the bag. It's not necessarily a comfortable place for the mind. But the mind isn't really so much discomforted by the present lack of confusion. It's more concerned about the future lack of confusion, or more specifically, a future where you don't have a story that fits the situation, that doesn't say how you saved the day or how you ruined the day. But it's really not as bad as it would appear to not have a story. In fact, it's actually good to not have a story. So in the moment where the mind is trying to pack the bag or give the testimony, preparing to meet the therapist or preparing to meet the superego critic inside, you can just let it go and say, look, I don't know. I honestly don't know what story would fit this. Maybe this story does fit the situation, maybe it doesn't. But I don't really want to be a storyteller. I don't really want to pack the bag. I don't need to go to the airport, metaphorically, not really. I don't need to testify in the courtroom of my mind. I don't need to make a report to the therapist that explains why I saved the day or ruined the day. I can just be here present with a mind that really wants to tell a story, that really wants to testify, that really wants to pack the bag, that really wants to package it up. Totally fine. I'll add a few more things. One is the idea of these two different voices. One is the ideal parent, speaking to yourself as an ideal parent. But this other voice is more about what I'm talking about. And that's a great voice. But what I'm talking about now is this voice that simply is silent, that says, I don't need to package this up. I don't need to testify. I don't need to make sense of this situation.